Seems as though it's at last game over for Wendy Williams' ex Kevin Tracker. That man is needs specialists in the red, and possibly running from prison time. And get this, he likewise, as of late, asked the court to request that Wendy continue her support checks, and furthermore figured out how to get the court to stand by listening to his case about his unjust end by the makers of the Wendy Williams show. Wow, he truly doesn't have the foggiest idea when to stop. But at the same time, that is not all, 'cause homeboy is additionally confronting one more fight in court of his own that could land him in prison, young lady. He's truly going to require all the cash he might conceivably get as of now. So you all have been seeing Kevin Tracker's ruin progressively. I mean, not very far in the past, Kevin was hit with a claim from UBS Bank, blaming him for declining to settle up on his MasterCard. In the claim, UBS said that Kevin applied for a Visa signature card in 2014, yet Kevin penetrated the arrangement by neglecting to make the necessary installments. UBS additionally likewise said Kevin owes over 20, in addition to lawyers' charges, saying in court records respondent has neglected to cause the base regularly scheduled installments by the installment due date as expected by the card part. Understanding now, we as a whole realize what could befall to Kevin in the event that he doesn't settle up, which is presumably why he is flipping around each stone, searching for cash. Kevin recently put his home available to be purchased for $1.3 million and took 2 credits out on 2 extravagance vehicles through an organization called Flex Abundance. Now he has sold the house which she bought in Parkland, Florida for $95,600 in 2020 and resided in with life partner, or perhaps ex Sharina Hudson. And he as of late sold the house he purchased after Wendy separated from him. And that implies Kevin is formally destitute. And presently he is giving his best for still pursue Wendy's cash. And even before that, Kevin had likewise done all that he could to continue to get checks from the Wendy Williams Bank. He really had the boldness to sue her and say in court archives that he 100% relied upon the provision installments, which were consented to in their conjugal repayment arrangement, saying, "I have fallen behind on the majority of my bills. I, as of now, live locally that expects installments to the mortgage holder's affiliation, and I'm behind on that bill." After Kev recorded the claim, the adjudicator decided that Wendy wouldn't need to continue cutting Kevin's divorce settlement checks. The adjudicator truly observed that Kevin's solicitation was not new and requested his application to be excused without bias. The adjudicator additionally denied Kevin's solicitation for lawyer charges to be paid by Wendy and requested that he allude to their legal documents, which obviously expressed if under any condition Wendy's agreement with syndicated program Wendy Williams isn't restored or potentially is generally suspended, dropped, or fired, and Wendy has no other TV program being circulated, and paying her a comparable compensation. Kevin comprehends and concurs that all severance installment will be liable to one or the other end or change. Supposedly, Kev was in court again, as of late asking to proceed with his divorce settlement installment to keep the house, apparently without any result. Purportedly, Kevin multiplied down on his cases that in the midst of Wendy's fight with Wells Fargo over the right to her extravagant fortune, his provision checks were improperly halted. Recall Wells Fargo froze Wendy's records over worries that Wendy was of shaky psyche, and the bank thought monetary double-dealing dementia or fixed impact, and Wendy even went on a tirade saying that it was unreasonable. My thing is that I've been posing inquiries about my cash, and when I started posing inquiries about my unexpectedly, Lori Schiller has no reaction in regards to my cash. I need my cash. This is ridiculous. And Wells Fargo has no inquiries and replies in regards to my cash. This is just a little ridiculous. So there was even no cash to give Kev, except for think about what when Kevin neglected to get Wendy to continue her support checks. He chose to pursue the Wendy Williams show and documented a $10 million claim against the daytime television show's creation organization. I don't suggest that you work with your better half, since I made him my chief, and afterward, when I chose to separate from him, he must be terminated all in all. I made him separated and jobless, across the board day. In his objection, Kevin guaranteed that he was terminated from his occupation as leader maker at the Wendy Williams show since his union with Wendy was finishing, and court reports, documented by his legal counselor, said Kevin was accustomed to being in the background of Williams' earlier endeavors and utilized his business information and road smarts to arrange a critical monetary increment from the underlying agreement being proposed to Williams. The Wendy Williams show ruled a 10 a.m. everyday morning schedule opening. And to date, no organization has had the option to beat the show. As of now, space as per Kevin, he was a significant piece of the show accomplishment during his experience as leader maker from 2007 until 2019 in his suit. He guaranteed dealings for Wendy's show began in 2007, and the syndicated program was allowed a 6-week preliminary, which surpassed all assumptions. He truly said that he was behind notable portions, like hotly debated issues. And Wendy's shoe cam. Moreover, Kevin said that he had the last say on visitors, created promoting plans to support evaluations, created contacts in the media, helped overcome any issues between the show and the African American people group, and created security methodology for his then-spouse to exacerbate the situation. Kevin likewise said the makers were wanting to utilize large numbers of the components from Wendy's show on their new syndicated program with Shipard, which as per him violated New York regulation. So essentially, his contention was that the end depended rigorously upon his conjugal status and his looming separation to Wendy, disregarding each of the commitments that he made to make the show a triumph. However, the makers tended to disagree and recorded a movement to excuse the case, which was dismissed by the court, and Kevin's lawyer likewise applauded back in a proclamation, saying Miss Tracker is glad that the court denied Wendy's makers' movement to excuse, and that he will at last see his day in court. Mr. Tracker was instrumental in making the Wendy Williams show the achievement that it was before it went behind closed doors, and the main explanation he was fired was on the grounds that his marriage was finishing with Wendy nothing at all in view of the benefits of his presentation. Kevin even released the email that was shipped off him by the maker emergency rooms, which said to some extent, "Dear Kevin, keeping in mind our 10-year working relationship we had, would have liked to meet you face to face, and ventured out to New York to do so. Yet sadly you have dropped the present gathering, and we are left with no decision except for to convey to you recorded as a hard copy that taking effect right now your job as chief maker of the Wendy Williams show is fired, and your expert connection with Deborah Mercury is additionally closed. Regarding the end of business, you are not generally allowed on the studio premises, and all correspondence in regards to your change, including assortment of your possessions from the studio premises, ought to be taken care of through your lawyer, as you have demonstrated that you are addressed by committee." Luckily for Kevin, the common court judge highlighted his excusal letter shipped off him, taking note of that the end letter made no reference to any exhibition-related reasons or any choices connected with Kevin's work as a chief maker. The adjudicator expressed that in their solicitation for an excusal, the show's legal counselors found in their contention that Kevin's case, beyond conjugal segregation in New York State Basic Liberties Regulation, since it simply applied to individuals who are hitched or unmarried. Yet the creation's legitimate group attempted to contend that the law doesn't matter to segregation in light of being hitched to a specific individual. Due to that, Kev will have his day in court, yet that doesn't imply that he is doing a firm. And you realize Kevin is obviously destitute and over as well as hella single now. I'm hearing that her ex Kevin and Sharina are at this point not together, and you understand what that is very much come on now, the cash working out positively. There have likewise been reports as of late saying that Kevin is the one spilling data about his circumstance, since he is attempting to reunite with Wendy and spend her cash again. I mean, we definitely realize that Wendy is, as of now, scarcely responsible for anything, and Kevin might have seen a chance to get back in her life and make the most of her like others working for Wendy. Kev Jr. currently let the child know that Wendy's well-being has been shoved aside while individuals around her are benefiting from the undertaking she's engaged with. He said that individuals around Wendy couldn't care less about her well-being and are pushing all her on bringing in cash. And as he would like to think that ought not be vital by any means. As per Kev Jr., whoever has been employed, they are making the most of somebody who necessities to improve. Yet, do you feel that huge Kev really means to reunite with Wendy? And is there a likelihood that Wendy would take him back at any